5 years after the listening array first opened its silent eyes, the star in Lyra began to tremble in earnest. It did not explode. It did not flare catastrophically. It destabilized. Its magnetic envelope entered a hyperactive cycle. Coronal arcs lengthened. Plasma ejections intensified. Deep field magnetometry confirmed accelerating interior shear. The effect rippled across 25 light years. On Earth, the sun's long-period harmonic envelope thickened. Not violently, but persistently. Clara felt it before the data confirmed it. She was older now, not in the way humans once measured age. Her hair still felt dark, her skin luminous beneath sunlight. Cellular decay in her tissues had slowed to statistical anomaly decades earlier. But inside, she felt layered, deeper. The 11-second pulse was now a minor rhythm in a vast orchestra she perceived. When Lyra trembled, the sun answered in compensation. The listening array recorded a 1.2% rise in magnetic amplitude over 3 months. Below ground, Eden 12 no longer felt separate. Joint habitation zones opened. Trade flowed. Children moved between sunlit forests and subterranean corridors. But fear was returning. Halberg stood before the council, older, grayer, but no less sharp. Solar amplitude increase is trending upward, she said. Rowan, hair silver now, replied calmly. Within survivable parameters for now, Halberg echoed. For now. He did not soften it. If Lyra's instability peaks, we may see further correlated rise. A council member spoke from the surface delegation. Can Clara dampen it? Rowan hesitated. She can align with deeper harmonics. That isn't what I asked. No, Rowan said quietly. She cannot control a star. On the surface, Clara stood at the basin's center as she had years ago. The forest was taller now, crystalline trunks branching into complex lattices that refracted sunlight into spectral halos. Cale stood nearby, his face lined by time but steady. You're holding more of it, he said. Yes. She no longer collapsed when amplitude shifted. Her body had adapted gradually to the expanded harmonic range, but there were costs. At night, when she closed her eyes, she did not dream of human things. She perceived oscillations, slow stellar breathing, magnetic tides across incomprehensible distances. I don't feel small anymore, she admitted. Cale studied her carefully. And that scares you? Yes, Lyra flared. Not a super flare, but a massive magnetic restructuring event that released a sequence of high-energy plasma arcs over several days. The listening array lit up with cascading data. On Earth, roars intensified across latitudes and seams since before the burn. Radiation levels rose, but with intolerance. The sun's amplitude rose again, 2.4%. Clara inhaled sharply. As the deeper harmonic thickened, it was not pain, it was pressure. The forest responded instinctively, branches shifting, crystalline matrices absorbing and redistributing flux. Mara approached, older but fierce-eyed as ever. How much higher can it go? Clara did not answer immediately. She extended her awareness. The sun's envelope was straining, not breaking, but widening. It was compensating for imbalance in the stellar neighborhood. Like tension redistributed across a web. Higher, Clara whispered. In Eden 12, Halberg confronted Rowan privately. You said survivable. I said within models, Rowan corrected. And now, we are exceeding historical solar variability but not approaching burn-level energy density. Yet, Rowan met her gaze. You want certainty? Yes. There isn't any. She exhaled sharply. Then we prepare. For what? For a future where adaptation isn't optional. Clara felt something changing within herself, not externally imposed, internally chosen. For years, she had aligned passively, allowing harmonics to move through her. Now she realized she could do something else. She could anchor, not by suppressing amplitude, not by forcing phase, but by stabilizing coherence locally. She turned to Cale. I can hold Earth steady. He frowned. What does that mean? It means I stop trying to follow the larger network. And I bind myself to the sun's core harmonic. His breath caught. For how long? She met his eyes. As long as necessary. Rowan watched her biometrics spike as she began. She's narrowing coupling, he murmured. Halberg's voice cut an over channel. That sounds like Helios. No, Rowan replied sharply. Helios constrained the star. She is choosing to constrain herself. On the surface, Clara centered her awareness deep past surface turbulence, past magnetic arcs, into the slow dynamo cycle that rotated through the sun's interior. She matched that, not the reactive envelope, the generative core rhythm. It was slower, steadier, immense beyond comprehension. Her body trembled as she locked onto it. Across Earth, magnetometers stabilized. Amplitude variance dropped by 0.6%. Kale felt the shift immediately. The air grew calmer, not cooler, not dimmer, but less strained. "You're doing it," he breathed. Clara did not respond. Her eyes glowed white gold. Inside her cells, bioelectric pathways reorganized permanently. Neural networks adapted to sustain continuous high-order synchronization. Below ground, Rowan's voice was tight with awe. "She's acting as planetary phase stabilizer," Halberg whispered, almost to herself. "She's becoming infrastructure." Days passed. Lyra continued to convulse in distant instability. The sun responded, but less erratically now. Clara stood in the basin day after day, unmoving except for slow breaths. Kale remained with her. Mara coordinated forest alignment around her position, amplifying grounding capacity. The listening array recorded a remarkable phenomenon. Earth's magnetosphere exhibited reduced variance compared to solar envelope projections. Localized stabilization, human-mediated. After one long dusk, Clara finally spoke again. "I can't hold the outer harmonics," she said softly. Kale's heart tightened. "You don't have to. I'm not trying to anymore." She looked up at Lyra's faint point of light. "It will settle, or it won't. And us?" She placed her hand over his. "We endure." Years later, historians would debate when humanity crossed the invisible line between species and system. Was it the burn, Helios, the listening ray, or the moment a single adapted human chose to bind herself to a star's core rhythm so that a planet could remain stable? On the night Lyra reached peak instability, the sun's amplitude rose to 3.1%, but Earth did not fracture. The sky did not burn. Auroras shimmered violently. Radiation rose, then plateaued. Clara stood at the center of the basin, luminous and steady. She no longer felt like she was listening outward. She felt rooted inward. The sun trembled, but Earth did not. Far beyond the heliopause, the stellar network shifted to accommodate imbalance. Not perfectly, not peacefully, but dynamically. And humanity, once a species that hid from the sky, had become part of that adjustment. Kale looked at Clara, awe and fear intertwined. "Are you still with me?" he asked quietly. She turned her head slowly. Her eyes were bright, not distant, not alien, just vast. "Yes," she said, but her voice carried an echo now, not of loss, of scale. The Lyra star burned through its crisis. Gradually, over months, its magnetic envelope began to settle. Solar amplitude declined in response. Clara felt the pressure ease, not vanish, but balance. She exhaled. For the first time in years, she stepped back from the basin's center. The forest remained stable. The sun pulsed in layered harmonics. Earth endured. She looked at the sky, no longer as something to conquer, not even as something to survive, but as something to belong to. And when the next star trembled, humanity would be listening.